going to quickly show you the difference between my upgraded MVP bolt and the stock bolt. And what's immediately obvious is with the front O-ring installed, you actually can't get I can't get the handle to go all the way forward. And if it does go all the way forward, you see how much you have to push it really hard to get it to go back. So it's catching really hard on that front O-ring. If you take it out real quick, hopefully. Take it out, you see the bolt, it actually goes forward a lot smoother and goes a little bit farther forward. The way the pump, I think the way the pump should be working. Okay, I'm not going to show you I'm not going to really do anything with the decibels too much. What the heck, I will. Alright, so we'll just put some air on it. Now this isn't the barrel that I was using earlier in my testing. This is a Eclipse Solo barrel with a 679 freak insert. So it might be a little bit different on the decibel meter. So here's the decibel meter I'm using. It's an actual calibrated sound level meter, so it's pretty accurate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on and go to max hold, so it'll hold the highest decibels that it reaches, and then I'll show you what the decibels reads. I'm just going to shoot out the door because it's pretty cold out there. So actually I think if I leave it right there you'll be able to read it. So quiet time. Oh, I'm going to put paint in it. So getting about 77.6. So I'll clear that. Get another paintball in there just to show you. $77 on that one. One more for good measure. And you see, just me talking into the camera here, we get all the way up to 82 decibels, 84 there. So it's not really all that loud. It's a weird sound signature, but it's not loud at all. Again, 77.2, and me talking is about 80, 82. So, alright, let me close the door, and I'll show you how to install the bolt now. Shut off that. Now take that off. Oh, and I got one other thing I'll show you while I got this thing apart here. To reduce the farting noise a little bit, the customer put some washers in there that kind of helped out. So what I did was took his stack of washers and measured them, and then made a real spacer so that it wasn't just a stack of washers moving around in there. So take this out, take the bolt out, see if I can reinstall this in a reasonable amount of time. Gotta be real careful about this little body transfer O-ring. have to edit this. Okay, get that back installed. I'll show you what I did for the washer mod. Basically, I took the washers, measured them, and turned it into this little machined piece of aluminum. So that's the same thickness as the 3 washers that he had in there, but it's just a little bit more smaller, more compact. There'll be less weight moving whenever the power tube moves back and forth. What I did notice, whenever you do this mod, you have to increase the pressure to get to velocity. So if you had no washer on here, I don't know, it seems like about 1/8 of a turn, 1/4 of a turn difference. So you actually increase your pressure, HPR pressure, whenever you use this. But pretty much irrelevant. So put that back together. Put my bolt in here. It looks very similar to the Bob Long bolt, except for you can see that the front end is cut back so that it clears the O-ring, the front O-ring, so that pump stroke's a little bit smoother. And there's also, you probably can't see it on here, but on the inside there's an O-ring right about here that seals against the power tube. Now, whenever I got this gun, it was actually leaking from the front end, and that was because the O-ring, the body O-ring, was actually missing. So I replaced that with a 003 Cocker 3-way O-ring, and that fixes the problem. In case you can't get one of the metric ones from Blast, or you want a cheaper alternative. But what you'll notice right off the bat is the pump stroke goes forward without having to pull it. It goes all the way forward. So that means it's going right over top, right over the inside with no extra effort over that O-ring. So you can actually keep that O-ring in there and keep your pump stroke nice and smooth. And I guess we'll throw some paint through this one too, just so that you can see there's really not that much difference in the sound signature. And there's really not that much change in the velocity either, but a couple FPS, not really. And that was over an average of like 20 shots. So then that could be the paint. That's within the margin of error. So again, we'll shoot 3 or 4 shots. Hopefully you can see that. And I'll do the same thing, max hold, and we'll see what it sounds like. So 76.3, that's 1 decibel quieter. 77, that's right on the average. Oh, one more, hold. And again, right at 77, so that's right on the average. So the sound signature is really no different than the stock bolt. The advantage is really the smoother pump stroke and the lighter weight. I don't have a scale out here to tell you, but obviously this brass one's going to weigh a heck of a lot more than the Delrin one. And I'm just going to hold on here a minute, just see if I can grab a cocker and show you the sound difference between this and a cocker. Now, normally I run a CP barrel on this gun, which I think is a little bit quieter, but just so that we're comparing apples to apples, I'm going to use the same barrel as we used on the MVP with the same insert. So 75, that's a little bit quieter. .68, that's a little bit quieter. Okay, so it's a little bit quieter, but just so you know, if I hold the gun right up, it's going to screw this up, but if I hold the gun right above the sound sensor up here, watch how many decibels just cocking the gun is. So you get 58 decibels just from cocking the marker. So really, when you think about it, your 77 or 80 or even that many decibels isn't really all that much to be worried about. Just for 75 decibels. Okay. Alright, I hope that explains a couple of things about the MVP bolt mod that I did on this one, and hope it's piqued your interest.